So today's topic is the importance of collaboration and partnerships. I'm Kylie Renee with Rebel Talk Radio, and we have
Michelle, Rebel Talk Radio.
And I'm Renee B of Rebel Talk Radio.
Whoop, whoop. I feel like we're on the Brady Bunch. Do you guys ever feel like that with those squares?
Yes.
Like the Brady Bunch. Right, the Rebel Bunch. The Rebel Bunch. So anyway, so the importance of collaborations and partnerships is our topic today. And this came out of a conversation that we had in a previous blab, those of you that are listening. And we just had so much synergy with a lot of different women that were on air with us and talking about how we collaborate with each other and how we should and how much you grow in business and also personally just in collaboration. So I'm going to open up the floor. I posted a comment, more not a question, but really more like a comment, just kind of to gain an understanding what we mean by collaborations and partnerships. And it should have been collaboration and partnerships in business, but gaining new customers is only one of the many reasons for forming partnerships. You know, what else do we do? We're not doing this to, volunteer. Of course, everyone starting a business wants to make money. So our goal, the more customers we have, the larger our reach is. So a partnership could mean your business will have access to new products, reach a new market, block a competitor through an exclusive contract, or increase customer loyalty. So I just want to kind of open the floor for you guys.
No, I definitely agree that, a partnership is definitely to build upon your current network. It's to expand it. And in order to do that, some of the things you have to do is find someone you have a commonality with. So what other business has the same maybe goals or something similar, or sometimes it's even opposite. So it's not necessarily always the same, but sometimes it's something someone that's opposite of what you are, but you guys have something common that you're trying to reach, a goal together. So defining what that goal is and finding a way to expand your network together. And I think that is a really solid way to build partnerships and collaborate with one another.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. That's so true. Kelly, do you have any insights on it?
Well, you know what? Because I come from the nonprofit industry, one of the things that the nonprofit world is finally catching up with that has always been vitally important to some, at least to me, is that collaborations are vital to stay in business. Because, especially in nonprofit, when you're relying on public and private funds, you are always vying for, over a scant amount of resources. And the better you can collaborate with other organizations or businesses or, other governmental entities, the more, I guess, populated you can your services can reach more of a population, because when you're vying for just resources for your own niche, you're limited. But when you collaborate, you can expand and you can actually get more money. And it's a very difficult concept for organizations to get, because everybody feels like they're in competition with each other. But I think it's so important, just in order to, like Renee said, expand your base.
Right. Yeah, it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference in collaboration. And I have one, I always got these war stories as an entrepreneur, right? But there was an instance. So with my body butter, for example, with my company with Big Girl Cosmetics, I wasn't able to keep up with the demand of making the body butter by hand. So when I was making it by hand, it just got to be too much, trying to make all the different fragrances and keep the consistency and the integrity of the product. And so I partnered with a gentleman in Georgia who has a barbecue sauce business, and it's the same equipment as I would have used if I was making the body butter in a warehouse or manufacturing it myself, and on a larger scale. And so decided to form a partnership with him. His business was, at that time, he's doing very well now, but at that time his business was dragging just a little bit, and he needed some additional streams of revenue. And just so in our conversations, we decided to partner. And that was, 7 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago, since he's been making my body products, body butter. And so that kind of partnership. So there are different types of partnerships. There are partnerships that are not competitive, and I can't show my hands because I need a manicure. But there are partnerships that are not that are not competitive. So we came from two separate entities, two separate industries, if you will. And but we were able to work together. He needed additional business and streams of revenue, and I needed just someone just to make my products for me. So that partnership was something that really has worked out well for the both of us. He's taken on several other skincare clients as well, and it's worked out well. But then there are some that you have a direct competitor. So I want to give an example. If we think about Intel and like HP or Mac or one of the computer companies that they partnered with. So they are, going after the same customer base, but you need to have that Intel, whatever microchip, whatever it is, go into your computers to receive that sort of technology. The NVIDIA company that has that other that's another example of one. So, there are opportunities out there that you can find that sort of synergy with your business to have an access to a broader reach, a broader market. And Renee B just posted, what are some that you have collaborated with someone in the past? What are
it's going to say ways. Sorry.
Yeah. So are there, so Kelly, you coming from the nonprofit area, there's a lot to be learned in that arena. What can you share in terms of the...
Well, I'll tell you, when I was first really starting out, I was actually still an intern. I was in graduate school and I was interning with HUD. And my job was actually to read and approve HUD applications. And HUD, of course, housing. What does HUD stand for? Urban Development, Housing Urban Development. It's the big... Okay. It's the big national organizations that went, like if houses are FHA approved and you lose them, they go to HUD, and HUD kind of sells them and maintains them. But they also do a lot of other things around homeless, homeless shelters, and they're one of the biggest funders of homeless shelters and housing for people who are homeless. And so my job was to read these grant applications that came in from Chicago and kind of approve them so that they can move to the next level. Now, if you've ever read a grant or RFP for something like a national organization, it's ridiculous. It's like hundreds of pages long. And so, of course, I don't have time to read through 100 of them a week. And so what I would do, the first thing I would do was go to who are their partners. And who are they collaborating with in terms of providing the service? Because one of the things that we looked at was if you are applying and your organization does homeless, just housing, how are these people going to get other resources, transportation, medical resources and things like that? So if I fund you, then they just get housing, but they still got all this other stuff. But if I fund, say, Renee's organization, who in her grant is collaborating with a transportation company so they can get back and forth to doctor's appointments, if they're, a food bank or whatever, so that they can eat, a job training program. Well, now I am being able to utilize this certain amount of money and get all of these services. And so that was my first kind of understanding of how important collaborations were, because it was up to me to approve. And the first thing I looked at is, who are you collaborating with? And if you didn't have collaborative partners, you didn't make it to the next level as far as I was concerned. And so that was my first kind of idea about how important this was. And so as I went on and started my own organization, that's one of the things that I had to always focus on. Like, I do this really well. I did workforce, job training, job placement. I did that very well. But most of the people who came to me had other needs that needed to be met. And so I was always very open, and it was vital to me to partner with other organizations so that we could not only spread the money, but our clients could get service in multiple different areas with the same dollars. And so I became a very attractive partner to funders. And so I had great relationships with the people who funded me, because they knew that all of my people had wrap services that they were able to utilize with the same dollar amounts. And so from a funding perspective, we would prefer to see money go over, be able to spread out over multiple services than just fund you and your niche, and then leave a whole bunch of other things undone. And so that's my kind of platform for how I understand collaborations to work. Now, since then, of course, we all moved into for-profit, and that still rings true. in terms of when you're thinking about collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
I think another important piece to collaboration is understanding who you're collaborating with. So if you're doing it with another business per se, it's taking time to interview that business and make sure that you guys are on the same page. Not just, saying, oh, I want to collaborate. What is it that you're going to collaborate about? Set goals, make sure you have the same values, question them as if you were going to be interviewing them to hire them, because that's essentially what it comes down to. You may be splitting money, you may be doing other things together. So take time to interview that person who you're going to collaborate with and understand who they are, and don't just jump into something without knowing anything.
Right. And everyone is not for you. You have to really know your brand, and every partnership and every collaboration is not for you. And people used to think, when I didn't collaborate with them on certain events or certain things, they thought, oh, well, she's bougie. And no, I just really know my brand and I know my customer base. And I know if it's not a level partnership where I'm going to be receiving, some sort of benefit from it, then why would I do it? Logan said that she collaborated with another author, but she's not sure that's something she would do again. Logan, we're curious to know why. Why is that something you wouldn't do again? So if you just want to type that in, or if you want to hop in on the seat and talk about that. I think the seat is open.
Welcome, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa. Welcome. So everyone's partnership or collaboration is not for you. I did a launch event for one of my products, and one of the products, was geared specifically toward a certain demographic of women. And so I partnered with an energy drink, a woman's energy drink. And it was a great partnership. We were going after the same market. And we were just asking for, that additional support. I market to my, group of folks, and you market to your group of folks. And it really worked out well. There was some crossover into the market that I wanted to reach, and worked out really well. But again, that was a partnership that we, like Renee said, we had goals, and we vetted, who the person was and their company and what their ideals were. That's awesome. So what are some steps that people could do? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I just totally agree with that. You have to be so careful, because not only do you need to understand your brands and make sure that your partnerships are, equally beneficial to both, to your brand, particularly since we're talking about individual businesses, but also because of your reputation. And I know it's very, very important, and I don't want this to sound bad at all, but you have to be very specific about who you're partnering with, because you don't want to partner with another brand or organization that doesn't have a good reputation, because that casts some type of light on you as well. And I even experienced that in a nonprofit organization, in terms of, being fiscal agents for other organizations, or partnering with different programs, and to find out that they are not good. They don't have good reputations in the industry. And then everybody's looking at me like, is that a friend of yours? No, I was just in youth violence, and they're having something in my area. They asked me to participate. I thought I would. But, it's sort of an endorsement when you collaborate of that other brand that you're collaborating with. You have to be sure that that's an endorsement that you want to give, whether you're actually giving it or not. If your name is on it, you're endorsing.
You have to also build that foundation. I mean, part of that is starting with a business plan and working together and working those things out. What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses versus their strengths and weaknesses too? And then clarify your expectations together. So it's just not something that you're just like, oh, I'm going to do this collaboration. Yay. And it's all willy-nilly. I mean, what is it that you're going to do? What are you trying to accomplish? What's that goal? I've always said and heard this. I don't know who said this before, but a goal without a plan is just a wish. So are you wishing for this collaboration to just be magical, or are you making a plan and setting a goal to make it happen? And that's what that's really all about. You also have to be able to have constructive feedback and say, okay, we got to have that moment where we're talking to one another. Communication is key in a collaboration. And how do you make that happen? Okay, so-and-so is not pulling their weight. I'm unhappy about X, Y, Z. Or this is great, but let's tweak this a little bit more. So make sure that you have that communication and walk and talk through those things as well too when you're collaborating. Because if it's just one person that's in it, then it's never going to be successful, and you're going to be like, I'm never collaborating with anyone again.
Yeah. So what do you think a few factors, we kind of touched on them. What are a few factors? I'm going to post it here in the comments. So I listed step 1, like Renee said, make out a plan. What is the purpose? In forming a business partnership. Your purpose will drive who you decide to partner with. And then the second part is determine prospective partners. This will require a bit of time and digging into what it is that you want to accomplish. That should have been, what are a few factors to consider? That's what happens when you're typing really fast and you're live. So what are a few factors to consider, you guys?
Well, I think you actually did it really well. Is this, do we have the same market? Are we going after the same types of people? Are the people that I'm collaborating with, do they complement my business? I think that's first and foremost. It sounds really simplistic, but I think too many times it doesn't happen. You see a big name. Oh yeah, I want to partner with Nike. Well, that is really not my market. I'm not this, I'm not an active wear company, or I'm not promoting necessarily exercise. I might be promoting something totally different. And so I have to be careful in terms of who I am. Again, just like in the nonprofit market, I have to be careful what money I go after, which will determine my collaboration. And is that in interest? And sometimes you have to turn it down because it does not necessarily, it's not necessarily taking you in the direction that you want to go in. I think that's really, really important.
Right. And then the other thing, so we talked about brand alignment, but location. Location is important. So, because that determines whether or not they, can deliver on the things that that other partner or collaboration promised, So I think brand alignment, location, and complementary products. Are your products complementary to mine? And then I think we said target audience. Kelly mentioned. I'm just trying to make sure we get all these notes down. Target audience we mentioned, and then again, ability to deliver. Logan said, "Do you want my help? Meaning you want me to carry the project, because you will have some of those people." So yes, Logan, I'm giving you high fives on that, because sometimes people partner with you because they know that you're organized enough to carry out the particular, if it's an event or a fundraiser or that kind of thing, and they will partner with you to, they're leveraging your skills, more than, your brand, your personal brand, leveraging your skills. And that happens a lot. So, but target audience, I think is also another one that you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
What are some other things? Renee's our brand expert.
I was just about to go into branding.
Yeah. You saw my segue?
Yeah, that was perfect. So speaking of branding, it's more branding to success. And part of that branding to success is identifying who your core audience is. Discuss how your individual brands are going to come together, because there are two different brands with two different perspectives, with two different goals, and all these other things going on. So how are those two brands going to come together and be able to collaborate successfully? Another thing is, look at your competition. What's going on with your competition, from brand A to brand B? Whoever you're collaborating with, what is the competition going? Because that's going to make a difference as well too. And this will determine how you're going to engage your audience. And as you engage your audience, you have to make sure that you're doing it according to what that brand is together, not as that brand individually at this point, because it has become a collaboration. So because it's a collaboration, the brands have to work together. So what is your, where does your customer spend their time is one of the things you need to look at. Consumers are spending 1 to 2 minutes online as average. And this is about 15 to 30 minutes on Facebook, IG, Twitter, or all of the above. So where's your audience spending their most time? Who are they working with? What content will you market to engage in conversation, and how often? How does your content connect with your audience and keep them engaged? So that's a major thing, is how are you keeping your customers engaged or your audience engaged? Are you just getting out there via social media? Are you interacting other ways as well too? Is it word of mouth? What are different ways that you're engaging? What's the best time to post? So if you are on social media, what are the best times that you're posting that information? And will you send out a newsletter? Newsletters are huge right now with brands. And this is how you're gaining that audience. And I got to say that I'm going to admit something here. I am guilty of not doing newsletters. And I know it's a big thing, and that's how you get your customers. And that is one of my goals for 2016 is to make sure that I'm doing that. But collaborating together, you have a separate audience of your brand. And then that person who you're collaborating with has their audience. And then when you bring them together, you have a bigger audience for both brands at that point. So making sure that you're reaching all of your entire audience together. And then also is how are your business cards engaged, potential customers? A lot of people think that brands think about what your business is all about. But it's also essentially what is your business card saying about you? If you take a look at your current business card, does it tell who you are and what your brand says about you? So if you take a look at my business card, which I don't have one right here in front of me, and shame on me for not having that, but
shame on you.
I know, right? My business card says that I'm a speaker. It says I'm an author. It says that I am a beauty maven, and it says one other thing I can't remember, but it has a list of the things that I offer. So as you're branding together with your collaboration, what are your flyers saying? What are your business cards saying? Are you going to do a business card together? Are you going to do flyers together? What is that information saying, and what is that brand message that you're trying to get across? All right, I'm done.
So what are some things, I think the most important one, and I'm trying to list this as steps just so it's easier for people to follow along than just hopping in with us. But I think what's important, one of the most important steps, you laughing.
I was laughing at
that flash. Is to be able to walk away, know when it's not a good fit, when it's not working, and being able to say, hey, you know what, this is not a good fit. This is not my brand. This is not the direction that I'm going, and be okay with walking away. I think that's also.
And you know what? That's how to do. Who's y'all hear that?
Yeah. Turn your sound down.
Is it me?
Maybe it's your sound. Nice floor.
I will show you all my Christmas wrapping paper display.
Oh.
I don't know where my sound is.
On your computer?
Yeah, I'm on my iPad.
Do you have two devices going at one time?
No, yeah, but the other one's on mute.
Okay.
That could be it.
Okay,
right.
That's not it.
Uh-oh. Now we got your audio only. There you are. You're back. All right. So what are some lessons to be learned? I know I did one partnership before, and I really wish we had done like a partnership agreement. I started a partnership, and I really wish we had a partnership agreement so that it was more of a longer, project. And I wish that we had things ironed out in writing. Because, so that way the roles were clear, because it got to a point where I was doing all of the efforts, and I'm sure this happens to a lot of people. And even Logan was talking about her experience. I think this happens to a lot of people, and you feel like the brunt of the project or event is on your shoulders.
Yeah.
So what would you guys consider some additional lessons?
I mean, I think that you have to be clear that expectations are discussed in the beginning, because for some partnerships, it is going to be, I'm not doing anything. I'm just putting my name on it. And that might be okay sometimes. But in other partnerships where, people have expectations as to who's going to do what, those things need to be mapped out. Whenever I have done it, I've done project management, like spreadsheets, and assigned who out of, what organization is going to do what, so that everybody is clear. Everybody has timelines and expectations for how they're going to participate in the program.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and I would say too is that if you're going to have an event together, when you're collaborating, make sure that you have everything done up front and don't wait till the last minute. So like Kelly said, set that timeline. Determine if you're going to have like a hashtag that's going to represent your event, and make sure that you're giving out that information ahead of time so you can have that social aspect of it and have your audience engaging.
That's awesome. You know, really consider your clients. I don't know what step we're on. Is that step 4? Step 4, consider your clients.
Yeah.
And what their needs are. All right. Awesome. What do you guys think about partnerships as a way to better achieve your goals? You know, so always reaching for that collaboration or that partner that's, you know, kind of a step above where you are or they're at where you want to be. What do you guys think about that?
I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think definitely reach out to people. Meaning that someone that's above you and has more to offer, but you also have to bring something to the table to them. So it's not just one-sided. So when you're talking to them, make sure that you lay out, you know what, I know that I may be a smaller brand, but this is what I bring to the table and this is what I can offer to you in our collaboration.
And then how do you then take, you know, for smaller brands that are just starting out that maybe don't have the following that some of these larger brands have, how can they access, you know, what are tips that you guys maybe can offer for the folks listening or watching of how they can access those partnerships?
Well, I was at the Blogger Food conference this year, and they were talking about how do bloggers connect with brands, and even bloggers that don't necessarily have a lot of social media followers. And one of the things that they said there was that a lot of times it's less about the number of people who are actually following you on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, but more about your influence. Like, how are those 150 people that do follow you engaged? How engaged are they, and how much of an influencer are you in those areas? And so I think that is generally the more important thing. The person that you're collaborating with, or the organization that you're collaborating with, or the business that you're collaborating with, how much of an influence are they in their market? And I think that's kind of where you have to weigh it. You know, are they, you know, totally unheard of and you don't know much about them, as opposed to, well, you know, they don't have a whole lot of people, but they have this huge following in this area, which is an area that I would like, you know, to have some headway into. I think those are important things that you have to, you know, think about as well. So it's less about, you know, numbers and more about impact.
Mm-hmm. And I think if you do your research on what the company is, or that brand, or whoever it is that you're trying to collaborate with, if you do your research ahead of time and find out what their needs are or what they're lacking in, and if you fill that need, that's the way that you go into it. You say, you're looking for a minority. I am a minority. I'm also have access to my followers. That's what they do. That's who they are. And make sure you have your stats ready to give out that information.
Mm-hmm. So then that would be step 5. Step 5, do your research, know your weaknesses and strengths, and that of your partner as well. So know which areas, you know, like I know for me, it's going to be hard for me to, I like to start the projects, get them going, and then I want somebody else to pick it up afterwards. I don't want to, you know, especially when it comes to an event. I'm not good at that. That's not my ministry.
Right.
I'm great at revving up, starting it. I can even close it out. But the middle in between, I need that partner to come in and help me stay focused, help me make sure all of our deliverables are where they need to
right.
be, and everybody's accountable. So I guess step 5, do your research, as Renee said, know your weaknesses, and that of your partner is another one. So any other tips or items or things that you guys, I mean, we can definitely change the topic. So if there are other things that you want to dive off into, or a particular area, in particular authors, since we have 2 authors in the house with us, with Logan and Brene, do we want to shift topics and talk about that particular leveraging partnerships or collaborations in that with writers, I guess?
Yeah, I actually did something recently with an author, and I collaborated with them. And I'm considered a co-author in their book with some other women as well too. And the exciting thing is that it helps me to get my story out there and to share. But the thing about that collaboration is that I don't necessarily know if I ask the right questions because I don't know how this is benefiting me. So understanding when you collaborate with someone is how is that collaboration going to benefit your brand and your business? And that's not just being an author, that's also being within business in general. So just, asking the right questions and getting that right information. And I think that, also too, if you're the one that's pushing the collaboration, make sure you lay out for that person is they understand what's in it for them and what they're going to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I always wonder why authors don't network and collaborate more.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, because clearly, even if you're writing in the same genre, clearly people can read more than one book, right? And, and it's easy. So I never understood why authors don't collaborate more. If I ever finish my book, if I ever, or it's not even about finishing. At this point, it's just about having the balls to put it out there. There's that beautiful cup again. Renee, can you show us that cup once again, please? Look at that cup. Isn't that too cute?
How can we get one?
Actually, you can. It's just a one of a kind. I haven't decided.
Look at that.
If I do, I'll let you know. It's my logo. And actually, my lip and my mole. So you'll see my mole and my lips there.
Cute.
Now I lost complete track of what I was talking
about. Authors and collaborating and why they don't collaborate more.
And Logan said it gets very hard to make genuine connections.
Yeah. I would say that because I don't know if there's a lot of, there are some groups that are out there, but there are not a lot of groups that will push other authors out there. And I think it's because they're so busy, especially if you're a self-published author, you're so busy promoting yourself and doing things for yourself that, to take the time to do something for someone else is you're being more selfish in that speak. And I can't attest to that, is that it's hard to promote other things for other people when your focus is solely on your book and getting your book out there and getting your information heard. So sometimes it's harder for authors to collaborate and to make those genuine connections. So, but you definitely have to try.
Yeah, I think also that when you're talking about something like that, you have to maybe kind of think outside the box in terms of, maybe not collaborate with another author but collaborate with some type of product or something that is how can I say it, like complementary to whatever it is that you're doing. So, I don't know, if you're writing erotica, collaborate with a mattress company or, or lingerie company or something, but, something that's complementary to whatever your product is. If you are having difficulty finding, a direct collaboration that kind of does the same thing as you.
It's so cool that you said that, Kelly, because when I had my book signing, what I did is my book is all about beauty from the inside out. So it's called #I'mBeautyInspired. It's a book of original beauty quotes and affirmations for young girls and women to help them to embrace their inner beauty and apply more self-love. So what I did was I collaborated with The Limited, and I had a book signing there, and they were able to talk about beauty from the outside, and I was able to talk about beauty from the inside. So that collaboration there was really a great match for me. I'm also looking to collaborate with a beauty company as well too. So maybe like a Sephora or a Ulta, where you can do something similar to that, but it's more so with makeovers. So helping the woman feel good on the outside, and then I read some quotes about beauty from the inside. So it's finding that partner who you have that similarity with to bring that all together, and also to bring you as well as them another audience they may not have exposure to, and you may not have exposure to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really like that. You guys are so smart. So smart. The smarts in the group. So yeah, but I think going back to what Logan said, it is hard to make genuine connections. But I think when you look at those connections as collaborative partnerships in business, sometimes people may not always show their true self personally in business, so it may be hard to really connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you keep it strictly, don't take it personal, and you keep it strictly professional, then that makes a big difference. You're not making a friend. You're working with them, on a particular project or launch or whatever it is. So I think that's important. Are there any other items that we missed? Anything else that we said? Do your research, know your weaknesses and strengths, and that of your partner. Consider your clients and what their needs are. Determine objectives and metrics. What are your goals? How will they be measured? And then determine prospective partners. What are a few factors to consider? And then we started out, it seems like forever ago, but we started out with, I forgot the first step one, but map out a plan. So mapping out a plan. What's your purpose, and who are you going to partner with? So are there any other items that we missed that we needed to share with folks?
I just want to say, don't be afraid to collaborate. It's not going to take any money out of your pocket or dim the light on anything that you're doing. It's only going to create more time. And I think that is like one of the most important things, about collaborating, that people are so afraid to do it. Like if am I promoting something else that is not mine, or if I'm selling shoes, if I collaborate with another shoe store, what if they steal my customers? No, we have to stop thinking in terms of scarcity and just understand that it's plentiful. If I'm selling, there's no way I can sell shoes to everybody in Chicago that needs shoes. And so collaborating with another shoe store is only going to strengthen my market, and certainly not dim my light. And I think that that's something that really, really needs to be discussed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So don't be afraid to collaborate. That's true.
And I think that the way to go about collaborating too is networking. I mean, you have to think of all of the social media that's out there. You could either start collaborating with friends, you collaborate with businesses, you can collaborate with brands. You can find those people via LinkedIn. You can find those people via Facebook. Interacting with Facebook groups is amazing, and those are ways that you can collaborate. I'm part of a group called BLM, Bloggers Like Me, on Facebook. And with that group, I've collaborated with a few bloggers. I did the 12 Days of Business last year and did a giveaway with one of my fellow bloggers. And that was something that gave me a different audience. There was another lady that I ended up collaborating with, and we did a vision board thing together. I had a former business called Boardroom Beauties with my friend Toya. She and I collaborated on some things together, and we met through blogging. So look at all your different connections that you have and decide how you're going to collaborate throughout your network. Some people collaborate within Twitter, and they help to support each other. So whether that's retweeting something, so collaborating isn't always about doing an event together. Sometimes it's about, can you retweet this for me? Or can you go like this on my Facebook page? Can I do the same for you? Can I comment or something? Mm-hmm. Collaborate in those different ways. Or can I buy a product and share that product? What can I do to help you to be more successful? And how can you help me to be more successful as well? And let's bring that together. So collaboration isn't all about events. It's different ways to network.
So true. So true. Well, I'd like to collaborate with this this mint. I'm addicted to these mints. They're soft mints. I'd like to do some sort of collaboration with them because they are the bomb, and I'm addicted to them, and I can't stop eating them. So I'm sorry.
That's funny.
Anyway, any last minute things before we start wrapping up?
Well, I just want to. We talked about collaboration, and I hadn't even thought about this, but the way I met you, Kylie, was through the collaboration of the launch of my She Spot blog. When your Big Girl Cosmetics and Renee, who was at the time representing Carol's daughter, because I was doing the launch of my She Spot, and then the ladies came and brought products and things like that. And that's the way, you know, I actually met Kylie through that collaboration, them supporting me. I mean, it was great for us because my, you know, all the ladies that came to my event, you know, got products and got introduced to Big Girl Cosmetics. They already knew Carol's daughter, but still, you know, it was a great opportunity to, you know, have a name like Carol's daughter at my event. So I think collaborations they do nothing but support and help, you know, everybody involved. And it's a good thing. It's nothing negative about it. If it doesn't work, don't collaborate again and move on. So it definitely wasn't a loss. Unless whoever you're collaborating with like stole all your money or something like that. But that's another slab.
Is it hard collaborating with friends, do you think?
It can be.
Do you think that makes it easier or more comfortable?
I think so. Here's my thing about working with friends in general. I don't think that it's difficult to work with friends as long as the friends you're working with are on the same page. Now, there are some friends that I have that I would never do business with. Love them to death. Go out for tonight. But doing business with, no, we can't do that.
Not so much.
And you just have to be clear and you have to be honest. You know, I watched this show. This is a really good example. I watched a show called The Affair. And so last night
I love that show.
Do you not love that show?
Oh my God, I watched it.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, you gotta watch it.
Oh, did you see last night's episode?
Girl, yeah, I have it on TiVo. I watch every one.
Girl, please.
So do you know what I'm getting ready to talk about? The collaboration. The ex-wife.
Walk me up now.
Right, the ex-wife and the ex-husband collaborated to buy this restaurant. The lobster roll. But it was actually the ex-husband's brother's idea. And so when the brother found out that the two of them had bought this, he was all upset and, you know, mad and everything. He was like, you stole my idea. But from the ex-husband's perspective, he was like, I can't do business with you. You're my brother and I love you and I'll support you. But you're a crackhead. And I cannot do business with you. No, I'm not saying my friends are crackheads. But, you know, you have to be honest about your circle. If you don't go in business with somebody who you know is bad with money. You know, don't go in business with someone who is horrible at the same things that you're horrible at. You know, now I'm doing a collaboration right now with one of my friends who's in IT. I know nothing about IT, but I know a whole lot about business. He knows nothing about business. And so the conversations that we've had was, hey, this is my lane and this is your lane. I'm going to need you to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to do this, this, and this. But having a really clear understanding of who you're in business with. Now, I already know from the onset that I'm going to have to drag his ass. I'm just going to have to. I'm going to have to, you know, go above and beyond that piece because he's not going to do it. But I have a clear understanding of that going into it. I think a lot of times, you know, you have friends that have great business ideas and you go, oh, yeah, we can have so much fun. Yeah, but you got to understand that business is not always fun. Business is mostly not fun. And so you got to be able to make sure that the person you're collaborating with pick up those things and make those things go, or else you're just going to have a couple of parties and then you're going to be out of business.
Right. You know, but then you know, so sometimes partnerships, when you mentioned the show The Affair, sometimes those kind of partnerships can be uncomfortable. You know, so how do you navigate through those uncomfortable partnerships or collaborations? You know, and that was an interesting one because that was with her ex-husband.
Yeah,
and her current.
I don't know that I don't have an ex-husband, but I don't know if I will be able to go into business with any of my ex-boyfriends.
Right.
However, you know, at some point, business is business, and you know, all this other stuff is extra. And when you're talking about business, you got to bring your big girl panties and your big boy drawers to the table to say, hey, you know, we can argue after 5, but right now this is business, and you have to be sure that whoever you're collaborating with or in partnership with is able to do that. If it's an emotional relationship, it's just not gonna work. We got to be able to do business and not the other emotional stuff. And maybe I'm just, you know, really cold-hearted or whatever, but I don't do that. You know, like even with my friend, we've been friends for years. Our families are friends. Our kids are friends. But when we sit down to have our business meetings, it's like, hey, this is business and we got to move this forward. Are you going to be able to do this? You know, but again, I think clear expectations of who you're in business with is so important.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes, you have to also be willing to possibly risk that friendship.
Yeah.
If you don't set those expectations, and if those expectations are not met.
Yeah.
So if you're going to collaborate with a friend, then make sure that you put those expectations out there. If you have to get it in writing, get it in writing. I mean, because if you don't, then you risk losing that friendship. And if it's a friendship that wasn't worth saving in the first place, then okay, who cares?
Yeah.
But if it's a friendship that you value, I would definitely say to set the expectations up front, have good communications throughout, and maybe if you have to put a contract together, because that is
and I don't think there's ever a time where you don't need a contract, whether you're friends, you know, in a good space. If you're married, you know, you need to have a business contract so that when or if things start going south, you can go back to the contract and say, hey, this is our agreement. We need to, you know, make sure that we're following this, and also be able to have some type of exit strategy. You know, if business is just not going in the direction, or if you're interested in going in a different direction, this is the way that we can, you know, cut ties with our business and, you know, possibly salvage anything else that we have. I think, and y'all know how I am about everybody that we talk to. We get in a contract with them, you know, but just, I believe in, you know, I do not do well with abstract thinking. I am very, very literal when it comes to stuff. Like, I can't, my head is too crazy. You said what?
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about how this show came about.
Exactly.
And how you were like, okay, so now what does that look like?
What does that mean? What are you saying? And maybe I'm just, you know, dumb or something, but like, I don't understand all of that, you know, abstract conversation. No, I need dates and times and numbers, and I need some qualitative data. And I just think putting everything in writing makes it easy, so when you're not living up to your end of the bargain, or when your partner is not meeting the expectations that were agreed on, you guys have it in writing that this is the next step. This is what we do. Because even in the other partnership that I'm in, you know, I told his wife, I was like, okay, I'm going to talk to him 2 more times. And if he's not doing it, I'm moving on. I need y'all to understand that, because I don't want to fall. We still coming over your house, you know, for Christmas Eve. I don't want to fall out about that. My daughter needs to be able to still, you know, we need to salvage our friendship and not let it be precipitated on how well or bad we're doing in business.
Right. And I think, you know, when you're in business, you have to learn to have thick skin. So even if you're having to tell your friend, look, I need you to pull your stuff together.
Absolutely.
You know, this is not tight. This is not right. Or I'm feeling a certain kind of way about this. Yeah. You know, and I'm laughing because of how this all came about. And, you know, some of us were having reservations in this group about doing business with you on the original platform that we were supposed to do it on. And, you know, I was kind of like, I don't know how to say this, Renee, but I'm not feeling this.
Right.
So, and for those of you that are listening in, we are Christians, Christian girls, but we're kind of the ones that are on the outside of the church.
We sit in the back pews.
We're in the back pew keeping up trouble. But we love the Lord all the same. But our original platform was going to be on a Christian radio network. And every now and then I might slip up. I might say flub. I may say shucky ducky. I may say mother sucky. Ain't no telling. You just don't know what's going to come out. And so having these restrictions on the Christian network, I felt very nervous about it. And I was able to come to Renee and Kelly and say, look, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if this is my audience. My audience is used to seeing me as I am. And if I don't say a curse word at least every 3 minutes, then there's a problem. What's wrong with Kylie today?
Exactly. Speaking of which, you know, there was an article out recently about people who curse, who have potty mouths, generally are smarter and have bigger vocabularies. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I can believe that.
My favorite kind of data. I love it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to be, you have to be honest. And I like what Evan just said. He said, no plan to enter business, no plan to exit the business. It is no business. Absolutely. That's absolutely true. You have to have everything in writing. Everybody needs to sign off on expectations, because in the end, you're always going to end up mad. I remember the first business I did, I had a business venture I went into with someone. The person we went
you're
to
freezing,
a
Kelly.
consult. I'm sorry, my iPad was ringing. But he said you're always gonna feel like you're working harder than the other person, no matter what you're doing in business. Mm-hmm. You're always gonna feel like you're carrying all the way. And I know Renee is shaking her head. She always like, yo, y'all gonna make some of these flyers, but I can't be doing it all myself.
Y'all need to post.
Exactly. But and the girls know, for everybody listening, I'm always like, that's not my skill set. I don't know how to do Canva. Canva and I are just, we don't get along. But but again, going back to the plan, having a well thought out idea, and it can always change as the business grows and evolves. You can always change your plan, but just having some type of structure around who's going to do what, and talking it through and saying, hey, I'm really not good at this, or that's not something I don't want to do. That's not my interest. I'm not going to do a good job. That's me. I'm always like, I don't want to do that. Just to be clear. So in 2 months where you all are like, hey, I need you to do this. I told y'all this wasn't something I wanted to do. But I think that, whenever you have a business and whenever you're in it with someone else, you have to be clear about what is it that we are going to be agreeing to. So, when times get tough, we're not all angry with each other saying that, you should have done that. No, that's, this is what we agreed to.
Well, what's funny is that, like you guys said, when we started this whole thing, it was going to be on a different platform, and it was going to be with another group of people, and, teaming up with them and collaborating with them. And it just didn't make sense for us. And so that is part of understanding your collaboration, is knowing that when it's not going to make sense and when to walk away. But also within the partnership and the collaboration that we have together, we're like a family. We're all like sisters. We all have very strong personalities. There are times when I'm like, oh, they get on my nerves. And I know there are times that she getting on my nerves. But we come together and we talk those things out and we work them out together, because we want this to be successful. We want to be able to bring quality information to everyone that's listening, and be able to help and give advice, or get advice as well too, and you guys to help us. We want to collaborate with everybody. So in order to make this successful, we have to be willing to talk things out and communicate very, very well with one another. Else the collaboration is just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think that you need to kind of think through, what is the culture of your business? What do you want that environment to be like? Like, I will not do business with people who cannot have fun. Like, we got to be able to laugh and, and get the business done. But I can't work with people who are very, very structured and very, very serious all the time. That's just not my nature. So it doesn't work well with me. The other thing is, me and my husband talk about this all the time. I have to have people in my life that I can get mad and fall out with today, and tomorrow call them and be like, hey, are we still going to breakfast? Because that's the way I am. I'm a very unedited person, so it's no telling what's going to fly out my mouth. I need you to not be sensitive about it, or if you are, I need you to get over it, because I'm saying it from a place of love or stupidity.
Just get over it very quickly.
That's what I need.
Tomorrow.
We had a lunch together where y'all were like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. I'm just done. I'm done with everybody. I just don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone.
And we were like, pass the syrup, and we were like, pass the syrup and shut the hell up.
Right. And at the end of the lunch, we were all
like, well, Renee's in her mood.
Right. But even from that perspective, having friends that can understand that, you know what, y'all always on 10, I'm not. And so I need y'all to deal with that. And we being like, okay, we're good with that. We're gonna keep laughing, and then we hope. My whole thing is I'm gonna keep laughing and cheer you up, but understanding personalities, and not to make light of this, because we are talking about business, and not that everybody has to be friends and get along all the time in business, but we do have to understand, like, what is the nature of the business, what is the culture that we are trying to create. And I think that when we were talking about, us on the other platform, that was the main underlying thing. I don't think we ever said it that way, but that was an underlying thing. Like, this is not the culture for us. Like, we're not gonna fit in well with the mood of what's going on. And so let's just create our own thing where we can make sure that we are all on the same page, that we're working the way we want to work, and that we're having a good time. Because I think ultimately that's kind of what the three of us decided. Like, this is a good time for us, and if we can't have fun, we don't want to do it.
But don't successful businesses have healthy cultures? And
Absolutely.
Creating a culture, a collaborative culture, a culture where people, are respected for their opinions and their differences as well, because it's not always a place, you can't always come from a place where you can agree with everyone and everything that's happening. So, but successful and healthy businesses do have healthy networks, healthy partnerships, healthy collaborations, and so that they know that they can grow, and that's important. That's super important.
And I think that go ahead, Renee. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think that a smart business person will know when to walk away from a collaboration. And I think that sometimes we get scared thinking that, oh my God, if I walk away from this is going to not give me X, Y, or Z. I'm going to lose out on this. So I have to take this collaboration. But being a smart business person, if you walk away from it, sometimes it's something so much bigger and better that's waiting for you. If you had not taken that chance, you would have never known what you could do or what could have happened. So I think, you have to know when to walk away if it's not working, and be okay with it when it's not.
Absolutely, Renee. Like the other collaboration that, I brought you into just a little while ago, it comes a time where it's like, and it's a hard decision to make. Like, I really believe in what you're doing or where this is going, but this is just not a good fit for me. It's not a good fit for us together. And being able to say, what, I wish you well. I really do. I will support you, but it's just not a place that is comfortable for me or whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish, and be okay with that. Now, the person I walked away with may not have felt that way, but hey, that's his problem. As for me, I still support, what they do. I still send out information about that because I think that it's important work that's being done, but it was just not a good partnership for me in growing what it was that I was trying to do.
Yeah. And then personally, things that personally don't sit well with you. So even though there may be some synergy for the businesses and opportunity for your business growth and all of that, personally, if there are some things, and for me, if I don't like the person, and this may be a bad thing, but if I don't like the person, it's going to be very hard for me to do business with them.
Yeah.
For me to collaborate on a project or whatever it is. So that can be very hard. And again, going back to what you said, Kelly, about making sure that they are sensitive, they can't be sensitive, especially, it's, I say all kinds of stuff, and it's not, comes from a place of love. It does come from a place of love, but, it's really, I have to, I find that I operate better when I get those things off of my chest and then I say them versus going days and days with, it hovering over my head of the things that have not been said.
Yeah.
So, all right, ladies. Well, we are going to be wrapping up. We got about a minute left here. Any last minute comments?
Most partnerships end in bitter ends. Main reason for it is no plan and contracts in place. Agreed, Evan. Which is a great way to wrap up. Which you could have jumped on, Evan, to hear what you have to say. But again, I think that's what we've all been talking about. It's so important to have contracts and understandings and agreements in place when you're talking about collaborations, because collaboration should be win-win. It should never be, I'm getting everything or my partner is getting everything out of the deal. But it should certainly be beneficial for all the parties involved. And if it doesn't, it doesn't make sense.
And that's when you've got to set the expectations up front, because if you don't set those expectations up front, you're just never going to win at this. And you'll be wondering, oh my God, well, what about this? What about that? Well, we never talked about that in the beginning, or we're not talking about that now. So not only setting those expectations, but again, communication is key within a collaboration with any relationship in general.
Absolutely. And Logan says, at times, a relationship with friends and family outweighs the fallout of a partnership. Absolutely.
Yep.
So I want you guys to remember this, the folks that are listening or watching, always, the biggest takeaway from this, I think, always doing your research, understand, and your weaknesses. I think that's, knowing thyself that's key. That's most important. And the strengths that you have and that your partner has. And collaborations and partnerships are meant to gain additional business, additional marketing efforts, additional reach to people. So don't be afraid to do it, but just make sure that you follow our 5 steps that we've laid out here, and we put them on the messages. So when we get offline, if you guys like to listen to the rebroadcast or re-airing, you can go through the comments on the side and get the 5 steps. But I think that's completely key. So really look for partnerships, look for collaborations that you can have with your business and different projects that you're working on. Like I said, with myself and my body butter, and it's being manufactured by a barbecue sauce company, and that's a crazy collaboration, but works well. And I worked with him to help him put together his offering to other cosmetic companies to manufacture their scrubs and their body butters. So, but really looking for ways that you can connect with people and that you can have those shared experiences and things with.
Yeah,
we thank you guys for joining.
Wait, I want to make note of 2 things. One, I am collaborating with Logan. She's going to be helping me write for the parenting magazine that we're going to be launching. And so, hey, there's a partnership right there. But the second thing is, and hopefully, of course, my Rebel Girls will be a part of that as well. But lastly, before we go, Renee, what does your shirt say?
Oh, my shirt today says, it's a different font, so it says, "I'm proud, I'm me, and I'm unbothered."
All right.
So
awesome.
You can find that I'll put this in the little thing. And if you want to collaborate with me on anything, I am open. I do a lot of beauty from the inside out. And you can find me at abeautyscarlett on Twitter and Instagram, or send me an email at info@beautyschoolscarlett.com, and I will love to collaborate with people and talk about some things.
Fantastic. Kylie,
Yeah,
how can we collaborate with Big Girl?
Well, Big Girl.
Eyebrows? Do you see my eyebrows?
Yeah, we're gonna fix that. So you can find my cosmetic and skin care company, Big Girl Cosmetics, at biggirlcosmetics.com. I'm also on Twitter as Big Girl Cosmetic and Instagram, and then also managing partner in Monroe Andrew Consulting. And you can find us online at Monroe, Monroe, AndrewConsulting.com. And you can also follow me. Goodness, I have 2 Twitter handles and Instagrams, the Kylie Renee. So you can look me up there. And I definitely would be interested in folks that are just hopping on, be interested in hearing your comments and your feedback. And I'm looking at my map here for our Blabs, and we are all over the UK, and of course, the United States, and also UK, which is kind of cool. So we appreciate you hopping on with you guys. We are Rebel Talk Radio. And again, I'm Kylie Renee.
I'm Kelly Michelle.
I'm Renee B.
And Evan,
all right,
you have a great holiday too, and everyone else on.
All right, happy holidays.
Yes,
and we are Rebel Talk Radio, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 o'clock.
Bye.
Central Standard Time. Peace, y'all.